Finally on today's show, I'm sure you heard, mobile sports betting went live in New York State this past weekend. 4 companies approved so far. You undoubtedly saw their ads on television, online, all over Twitter and other social media platforms. One of the questions that we've heard from viewers is, how did it go? How big was it? Well, a company called GeoComply gives the sportsbooks location data from customers and keeps track of who is playing, when, and from where. The location verification is important to make sure that the person is playing legally. Well, GeoComply says in the first 36 hours, the state of New York had 17 million location checks. Think of that. 5 million of them were on Saturday, and then even more happened yesterday with all of those NFL games. And this is pretty cool. So GeoComply posted this on Twitter, visualizing all of those individual check-ins. Now, this starts at 9 o'clock Saturday morning when it officially became legal to do your mobile sports betting. And this is just the first half hour of mobile sports betting in the state of New York. A huge chunk of the action, as you can see, was downstate, but also a ton of bets coming in from the Buffalo area and other metros. The Action Network, which is a sports betting media company, said that it's possible New York State brought in more tax revenue this weekend than the total from in-person sports betting over the past 2.5 years. That certainly provides some perspective. Besides the bets, though, the other topic of conversation surrounds all of the ads that we've seen everywhere, especially those on TV, because they really are ubiquitous right now here on Channel 2 and then all of the networks that had football games this weekend. Today, we talked about those ads with Matt Lowe, Senior Vice President and Creative Director at Crowley Webb. He noted how the commercials are going for humor instead of just being informative and telling people, betting went live at 9 Saturday morning. But we also asked him about the criticism that the ads are heavily pushing something that can be extremely addictive without an explicit warning of the dangers. If you look at the Caesars ads, and we've stopped this here, they end with some small print telling you about the dangers of addiction and also putting the gambling addiction hotline. But this isn't really up long enough for you to write it down. Lowe thinks the rules may change one day.
That likely will get more. I mean, you've seen pharma advertising and how much disclaimer that they have to put on. They have to buy 60 and 90-second spots just to get all that disclaimer on. So you could see maybe in the not so distant future that does ramp up. Or if it becomes this chronic problem, the way cigarettes were discovered to have been killing people, that it goes away altogether. So I guess now would be the time to do it. And it's not like sports betting didn't exist, even in New York. It's just you had to go about it a different way. I had to take a walk to a casino or had to go through these maybe sort of shady channels online. So now that it is more accepted, more wide open, and more convenient for people to do it, that was the excitement of this whole weekend, right? Especially in New York State. So now was the time to put your eggs in that basket and strike while the iron was hot before things not only settle down from a consumer perspective, but before maybe the government steps in and ratchets up the regulation just a bit.
And to pick up on that, we spoke with attorney and Two on Your Side legal analyst Paul Cambria to ask about the laws that are in place right now.
Currently, there are rules for brick and mortar gambling establishments. There really are no rules for the mobile. And so what we have to anticipate is that the licensing authority is going to administratively apply the rules that apply to brick and mortar to the mobile. And they require things such as, obviously, no sports figures can be advertised. You can't play New York college games. You can't be under 21. But most importantly, you need to have these public service announcements about gambling addiction and help hotlines and so on. And so if all those things are in place and there's nothing fraudulent being said or misleading being said, they will be deemed to comply.
Interesting. We are out of time, but thank you for watching the Town Hall tonight. 716-849-2220 is our text line number.